Terence Power. Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Do you know what I see, Katrina, as well? I just need to get this in real quick off the bat. You freak me out when you do that. Because a lot of people probably don't understand. Katrina's a mad bitch. And then sometimes she just switches her on and I'm like, whoa, who the fuck is that?
I know. This is what he says to me all the time. Like, behind the scenes, outside of like public arena, I am a mad bitch.
You'd be cancelled in the first hour. If
Sure.
anybody was recording you outside.
But like, obviously I can be professional and turn it on for the camera, and he just get freaked then when he
It does.
yes, because you're not used to it. You're not used to me being like,
No, because you're a bleeding lunatic. No, you are in a great way,
No, I
though.
am.
In a great way. I will
am.
give you that. In a
I
great
know.
way. But like when you switch it on like that, I'm like, oh, I forgot she's her. Do you get me?
stop making me laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, so Terence Flower. I don't like calling you Terence Flower
All right.
because I call my vagina my flower,
We got that, yeah.
and it just sounds weird.
Right, so what do you want to call me then? Just Terence?
Terry. I like Terry.
Yeah, all right. Terry.
He's my buddy. So anyway, same as last time. The format's the same. Every guest gets the same questions. Now, just to let everybody know this, Terence gets freaked out at the idea of the questions.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Terence?
I do. I was overthinking them.
Yeah, that's all right though.
So now I can't remember a single question.
That's good.
Because of all the faith in the world that you're just going to drift this in another direction.
Yeah, it will. It will. We're
Right.
just here to have a chat, buddy.
Yeah, that's all right.
And you know why? Because I know how amazing you are, and I actually want the world that listens to me to know. Because you've let me be on your podcast twice. Wow.
Let me come on. We wanted you to come on.
Yeah.
And you kindly came on, Katrina.
Yeah, but you invited me in the sense. Lots of people don't get invited on your podcast. We've talked about this, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I've recommended people to you.
I'm very picky.
And you'd go, no.
Not I'm very picky, by the way. I don't.
No. Who? I'd be like, they have a great no. So, like, to be on it twice, come on, there's not many guests that get on to talk at Bollox twice.
But because the first one went really well as well,
Mm.
so like everyone wanted a part two.
Oh, really?
Do you get me?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So like it's not like a thing of like I'll just get Katrina in because we're friends or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then earlier I was saying something there. I sound mad selfish. I mean, me and Calvin as a team.
Oh, yeah,
Pick
sorry.
who we have.
Just
But we have to be interested.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're like, get this person on, they're great. I'm like, Katrina, not really.
I know.
You know.
Yeah, and sometimes I forget that I'm really kind of old, and I have like,
I'm touching on you.
yeah, but I have that political. I suppose like some things that I'm like mad into, you're not mad into.
No.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
That's what makes us good friends.
Now, I've done loads of podcasts. I've done a good few of them with people where I wouldn't have been mad into them, but then after I was like, wow, that was fucking amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Because my idea of doing a podcast is being comfortable and wanting somebody to be there. So then it's full engagement, full interest. I feel like if you have someone there who's just like kind of forced to be there, like, oh, just have them on, you have them on. It's not the same.
Yeah. So it's likely, right, that people who listen to me might not listen to you, or vice versa. Because I have a lot of like teachers who listen to me, and you know.
I have a few teachers.
I know you do, but
couple.
like, a couple. But you know, like I have a lot, and they do kind of like me. Some don't, but some do.
Okay.
So like, just to frame, who are you, Terence?
Oh, bollocks.
Just give us
Very hard question off the bat.
I know.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? And what? Tell me a little bit about yourself, just a little bit.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'm a podcaster. Is that what you'd call me?
Yeah.
I feel mad weird saying that as well.
Okay.
So now we spoke about that before. Like Calvin is the same as well. I think a lot of people are like that. Like if someone asks you, like, what do you do? You're like, I'm a podcaster.
I know.
What the fuck does that mean?
That didn't exist 20 years ago.
No.
No.
And there's people that were doing podcasts 10 years ago.
Really?
I'm like, what the hell? How do you even know what a podcast was 10 years ago? I was talking to someone recently and he said that podcast is going 10 years. I was like, oh my God. Now, in fairness, mine's going 4 years.
Yeah. Is it 4 years?
Yeah, in November.
Wow.
It's good going, that, innit?
So you're a podcaster?
Podcaster, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want, the background of my life, Katrina?
Nah, not all of it. Because like, we don't want this to be like, you know, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
We're not into misery.
Get the heavy stuff.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, we've been through trauma. Yeah. Lived in the flats, You had a hard life. Yeah, we both did. Fuck off.
I love
I
that.
don't mean that in a bad way.
No, I'm with you on it, Katrina.
I know, but like...
we speak about it all the time, and I feel like... anytime someone wants to talk to us, it's always like,
I know.
Tell us about all your trauma.
And they use a little sad face. They turn their heads to the side and all. Tell us about what it was like to be a poor kid. Because you're so much more than that, though.
Yeah.
I do want to know, though. So when you said about, like, I'm a podcaster, like, why are you a podcaster, Terence?
I always wanted to do a podcast. I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
It's like, that sounds so stupid probably because people probably plan things like, and whatever. That wasn't like that for me. I just always wanted to do a podcast for some reason. And it was from a place of pure naivety, I'd say, like, because like, I'd listen to podcasts all the time. And I'd go, they're just fucking talking, like, you know, it's like...
Yeah, and
then I just did it, like, you know what I mean? So then I met Calvin during the lockdown and said my idea to him, and then he was like, I'd love to do a podcast as well. And that was on the fucking Thursday, and on the Monday morning we put a phone down at the kitchen table and started talking.
And that's gas because like I actually think that some of us are more outward than others, like just naturally. Like you are hilarious. Like we have a good friendship, but you're direct, but you're outward. So I think like with me, people would be like, why'd you write your book? Like why do you lecture? Why do you speak publicly? I don't have a reason why. That's who I am.
But how did that?
How did what?
How did you go that route?
Actually? I don't know. Like my earliest memory of myself is I've always been outward. Like if some shit was going down, I'd always be going, this shit's going down. And other people be like secret. You know these stories about like families who grow up in alcoholism and no one says anything? Nah. No. We were the opposite of that. Not at all. So I've always been like an outward person. But I think as well, like I like stories. I like books. And I love stories. And I love the idea of being able to communicate to people. Now, I never thought like that. Oh, I want to communicate to people. Yeah. But I do like the feeling it gives me when I speak and talk to people. So, but I think in terms of you, knowing you're just a outgoing lad.
Yeah.
But was there any feeling like I want to be heard or anything? Like
but not from a personal point of view, from the point of view of being from the flats.
Yeah.
So it's like no one like. And don't get me wrong, you're nearly searching for that. You always want to hear someone that you can kind of relate to.
Yeah.
Don't you? Like even before I got sober, I'd always listen to people who were in recovery.
Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck, I wish I was them. So you just kind of attract to that.
Yes.
Do you get me? And then I always was looking for someone from the flats or the inner city that was doing a podcast to listen and go, I know what he's on about. I know where he's on about. I know this person. Yeah. And then there was none, so I knew there was a market there.
Because when I heard that story, when I originally heard that from you, I was like, did that really happen? Like, did you really want to hear people like yourself? And that's great because like we've slagged about this. I'm not going to say the slagging, but like I'd be like, there's certain people that dominate the podcast space. Like I get like messages from people. Now this is not directed at anyone, but it'll be like this: hey Katriona, I have a really successful podcast, and I'd love to share you to come and share your story with me.
Someone at home fuming.
I know that. No, that's just an example. Okay. But it's like the same type of person who kind of navigates this space really well. And I know like since you two, there's been a bit more of like a more representative voice, but I think yous are like
of course, but you grow with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Katriona, I swear if I had me on my, I'd delete the first 99 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
Just because if I listen to it, I can hear how uncomfortable I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm so nervous, I'm so uncomfortable, I'm so on edge, I'm just like, oh my God, it's horrific. Yeah. But then you naturally grow into it.
Exactly.
You know, I used to feel like if I was sitting down speaking to somebody who was like in their 50s or something, I'd be like, who the fuck do I think I am questioning that? Like, you know, like some middle class person in their 50s. And I'm like this young fella from the flats in my mid 20s. And I'm like, so tell me a bit about you. I'm like, who the fuck do I think I am? Do you get me? So there was always that sense of being uncomfortable. But again, that changes as you go on. You go over it. You get me?
Yeah. You're really good at it as well. Like the mad thing is, it's like, I know your doubt sides. I know that side of you. I'm not going to reveal all that here, but like when I hear you doubt yourself, I'm like, oh my God, you are so good at that. Like at the end of the day, like the interviewing bit, because I think sometimes like, it's like me as well. Like I can underestimate my own skill. Like you're really good at telling me you're fucking deadly.
Yeah.
You know, but I could underestimate. I think, oh, I'm successful because I have a sad story and this, that, and the other, rather than the skill.
Yeah, of
and
course.
you have the skill.
But yours is way more mind-boggling than mine.
Yeah.
Because mine, I can easily break it down.
Yeah.
Everyone can talk.
Yeah.
I talk, Katriona.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not fucking...
Not everyone can talk, Terence.
I'm not an Olympic sprinter or an Olympic swimmer, or I'm not this or that. I talk.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Like, and I know you can break it down to like timing of questions and how you ask them and comedic value and things like that. I understand all them come into play, but there's also a sense of being like, I fucking talk to people. Like, you know, you're presenting in front of the UN, Katriona.
Yeah, I know.
So don't...
Yeah, okay, but like, of course,
there's a little bit of a difference there.
There is a little bit of a difference, but like, I still think skill is skill, wherever we demonstrate it, and like, I am of the mindset, it doesn't matter. Like, we're not, one person's not better than you. Just because I spoke at the UN and you spoke in Go Loud Studios.
But I understand you have to take into consideration factors as well. Like, so there's a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah.
Like, going to the studio now is not really any pressure.
I know.
So when I leave now, it doesn't matter who I spoke to. I leave and I go, I just spoke to someone.
I know. But I don't think you understand how that not everybody can do that.
No, I understand, but people can enjoy it. I don't like when people go, oh, you're fucking great. It's like, what? I just spoke to someone. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's just myself.
Yeah, I just talked to someone. That's all. Relax.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then, but I get it. Again, like I said, people can relate.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you get deep on the podcast. Like I said, like, I'm from the NSC, you know my life story as well. But so, like, that's not like this rare thing. Like, I was down there.
I know.
I was out the other day and I was with a couple of people. They were actually older lads that are from the same area as me, those S3 flats. And they were kind of chatting about, and they're all talking about sugar sambos and picking the mould out of the bread. And I'm like, every one of us get that.
I know.
Like, so it's not this like rarity.
I know.
You know, but so, like, I get that people can relate to it, but don't say someone's great because they can talk.
I know.
You know?
And that's gas, because one of the reasons I told my story is because I wanted to say there's loads of people like us. Like, we're not like anomalies. Like, I knew better girls than me who could do better shit than I could at the end of the day growing up, like coming from the flats, living in town. Like, there was loads of us.
Yeah.
Like, the idea that myself and yourself are like these anomalies that escaped, it's bullshit.
It is.
It's just hang out and you'll see like a plethora, like what a posh word.
Yeah.
Loads and loads of talented people who have gift of the gab, buy and sell, understand survival, can fight for themselves and all that stuff.
And there's also that feeling of like people, when you talk about it, people go, oh my God, you just had it so bad and stuff like that. And I'm like, not even the worst on the block in the flats, let alone in the whole flats. Like, there's people that have fucking really had it rough. Like, so when I speak about that, I hope, and I think most people do, understand that it's not coming from a personal point of view of like, oh, it's all about me. It's like, this is my life. And guess what? It's so much worse 3 doors down.
I know.
Let alone in the entire of the inner city.
Exactly.
It's just on my block in these flats.
I know, exactly.
Do you get me? But most people get it.
They do. So, this is a hard one. So I know this question, you were like, I don't know. I said to you, what do you want to be remembered for? And then when I was thinking about that question, I was like, oh, it's so hard to ask like someone in their 20s. Like, I'm a bit older and I'm like, well, I want, I've got this long left. What's my impact?
Long left.
But you know what I mean? But I was like, what do if you wanted to leave one impression like behind you, if you wanted people to think something about you after you're gone, like, what would it be? Is there anything you'd like to be remembered for?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Really?
No, I have to be honest, no.
You don't have anything?
No, like, obviously, everyone hopes that they go out and people think positively of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But no, I don't. It's not something I think about. Maybe I am too young to be thinking of that kind of thing. But it's just, like, I know what friends and family think about me.
Yeah.
And I know that probably sounds like so fucking, what's the word for that? Like,
what is it?
What's the word you say for that? Like, scripted, like.
Yeah.
You know, like such a scripted answer, like such a vague answer.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's reality, like.
I worry more, I think, because I have kids and stuff. And not that makes me any better with this. I worry more about like what I'm leaving behind with them than I would have done probably before them. So like, I worry that, I just like to be remembered for like being brave, like, and actually fighting for people and being a person that wasn't afraid to say, this is not right at the end of the day. I think when you have a voice and you're put in a position where you can be heard a little bit, like you have choices at the end of the day. And for me, I just want to be remembered for like actually saying stuff that some people won't say or don't say, and who don't advocate for other people. I just hate the fact, Terence, I know we've talked about this before, but we come from real poverty, like real fucking heavy shit. And I hate the idea that like that's been going on for hundreds of years and it's just going to continue to happen and nobody really gives a shit. And so I want to be remembered for at least trying.
Why don't people as well? That's a part that, because like, and people are so interested in it as well, by the way, and there's so many people out there who actually don't understand the severity of it, of like poverty and like the effects that it has on people growing up and stuff like that. And but I just feel like there's a lot of people that are like so far away from that.
They don't care.
They just don't. And again, some people don't care, but some people just don't actually get it. Like there's some people that don't understand sugar sambos and red sauce sambos, and some people that if you said that to them, they'll be like, "What? Oh my God!"
I know.
I'm like, "No, what are you on about? No, this is all right." Like,
I know.
But there's people who just don't even know that that's out there.
I know. So let's just talk about sugar sandwiches, right? Let's just tell people what they are in case they're listening. So like when I was thinking of titles of my book, that was one of the titles that I wanted to call it, was sugar sandwiches.
Yeah, class.
Because like I don't know if it's a very common thing where I come from is that you have no food in the gaff. You might have a bit of bread. If you were fucking rich if you had butter. Like no one had butter, but you might have a bag of sugar, so you'd have a sugar sandwich at the end of the day, or a red sauce. And
they're not bad, so don't knock them. No. All the teachers listening, try it. Try it. I know you have money, but just try it.
But like sugar sandwiches is like an example of like lack of food basically in your home at the end of the day, and like having to eat whatever was there. And that was common, like where I came from.
I'm telling you now, there's not a person that I don't know that grew up in my area that didn't.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I know. But like my best friend now, her mom had a job, right? And her mom used to go shop. I think I was only a friend for the food. And
you're on about the sweet press,
yeah, the sweet press, yeah.
I know one of them as well.
Yeah, she had like a cupboard for goodies. We called it goodies. She had a cupboard for goodies. And she always had red sauce, brown sauce. She had brown sauce. Like in England, we love brown sauce as well. Daddy's brown sauce. She had, so I doubt myself. I think to myself, did I stay friends with her because I liked her? Or because
I like that press.
She fucking fed me at the end of the day. Like it was like a mad treat. She was really, in my head, she was rich. And when I look back, she wasn't. Like her mom was a lone parent. She was on her own. She was struggling as well. But to me, food was a luxury.
I have that exact same situation. That's the weirdest thing in the world. And I've spoke about it before. I spoke about it a couple of times about like not even really understanding how bad it was at home until you go into a friend's house or a friend's flat and the heating's on and they open the press and there's like crips and bars and you're like, what the fuck is this?
I know.
How'd you just get that?
I know. And then you go home and you don't look at your ma the same.
No,
you're like,
don't.
See you fucker. Where's me fucking sweet press? And my ma's fucking drinking herself to death or whatever. And I'm like, why the hell is the cookies?
But they were rich.
They were rich.
They were rich. I swear, even going in and a little bit of heat hit you, you're like, whoa.
I know, but Terence, like that's left me with food issues. Like I actually think that's left me with like hunger. Like I cannot stand to feel hungry. Like I literally like have this like as soon as it hits, I'm like, eat quick. Because I and it's not a sugar sandwich that I'm looking for now, but it's like a fucking
steak
spice bag with a bit of extra curry sauce and prawn crackers at the end of the day. But like I actually think it did affect my my relationship with food. Like having none of it, like having, I don't know, do you think it did you?
No.
No?
I feel like I'm the opposite.
Yeah, oh really?
Like I'm not like, but I feel like that's an Irish thing as well. Like, you know, if there's a few bits gone out of the press, they're like, oh my fucking God, we better stock up now. We're running out of food. Like, they're like, relax, pal. You know?
It's not the fucking potato blight.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that with an English accent. I'm going to get into trouble.
Yeah, that's an Irish thing, I think. I'm not like that. I don't really give a fuck.
No, I do.
I actually don't mind that.
I don't like being hungry at all. like at all, Terence.
Oh no, come here. No one likes being hungry, Katrina. Let's not get it twisted.
No, some people do. Some women I know like feeling hungry. They feel like they're achieving something if they feel hungry. Like that's a bit mental. Sorry, I'm going off track here.
I'm not.
So, in terms of childhood memories, what is one or two that you think defined who you are? That's a hard question, is it?
Yeah, that's the hardest question.
Well, like for me, I suppose like lots of people talk about my childhood in the negative.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, my mum and dad were drug addicts. That was horrific. But Terence, like, there was I had really great things as well in my childhood, like really wonderful experiences. So like I was brilliant at football, right? Not many people know this about me.
That's
but
where
like,
John got it from, is
yeah,
it?
my son's a professional player. But as a girl, I grew up with 3 brothers. And I was thinking about this yesterday. Like my brothers, we'd go out and play football every single day because we had nothing to do. Your mum would lock you out in the morning. You wouldn't be allowed in till the night time, even if it was pissing down raining. Yeah. You'd have to fucking build shelter at the end of the day. And I'd go out with the lads, and sometimes lads from another manor would come to play a match. And my brothers would use me as the secret weapon in the match because they'd be like, oh, my sister has to play, like, because my man and dad kill us. And they'd be like, oh, we'll pick her and have her on our team. And then I'd be playing, I'd be fucking deadly.
Right, yeah.
And like, they're the things like that define, like my memories of being like good at stuff, not bad at stuff. Like actually, no, there was bad stuff, but actually being good at stuff kind of defined me, like, rather than all the poverty. Obviously the poverty was really painful, but actually finding shit that I was good at. And I think sometimes like growing up the way I did, you have a drive in you.
Yeah.
Like a drive to achieve things. Do you know what I mean? So have you any good memories like that? Football, tennis.
No, that wasn't really. Honestly, off the top of my head, like, I don't know. That wasn't really. Yeah, we played football, we boxed, we fucking.
Were you good at sport?
Yeah.
Like
I wasn't fucking the special athlete, but I played everything. Like,
you're trying to, like, he's trying to diet down now. When we talk off air, he's like, I'm gonna run a marathon at 7 in an hour and a half.
You'll have to give me a memory there now.
I'll go.
So in school, just man, I was talking about this last week. In school, I hadn't got many good memories at all, to be honest with you. Yes, so like, especially in primary school, and then, but the only thing that I remember being positive for me in primary school is the 2 running teachers. So we had 2 teachers who did cross country running with us and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'd do the cross country run, and I was always the best in the school, first or second. But I wasn't the best at anything else. Do you get me? It just wasn't.
Yeah.
And then like the way they nurtured you
and
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like no matter what the circumstances were, they were like, you're great at this, you're great. So I don't know whether that's why I have some sort of relationship with running now.
Because
I'm not some mad runner or anything like that, but when I run, I enjoy it.
But you know what as well? You know you're good at it. Because when we talk about it, it's one of the things that you actually are like, no, I'm good at that. Like there's no doubt in you that you're good at it. Which obviously came, do you remember the teachers' names?
Miss Harden. And I think they were sisters, actually. So I think they were both Miss Harden.
Oh, really? Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And you always came first or second?
Yeah, in the cross country.
Didn't you just hate coming second, though?
Yeah, man. Well, who likes coming second? No one remembers second. It's like you tell people, if someone comes up to me now and says, I came second, and that, you should have fucking won it, couldn't you? You know what I mean? Just run faster.
Oh, stop. Like when we used to have to do like a cross country every term in school, and they time you, and you had to get quicker. And I was so I am so competitive, right?
Oh, we know.
I want to win everything, and you can't win everything, but I don't believe that. Yeah. And I used to race, and this girl, Julia Wilde, if you're listening, so Julia Wilde was this little like tiny girl who obviously had the perfect running body, because I know now that you have, like, runners have a certain shape and size to them. Dave's and Whippet. No, if you look at people who run long distance,
this is not true. People.
They have a certain shape and size to them. Mm-mm. But anyway, she had that shape and size, and she always came first. I fucking hated it. And every time I'd be like, I'm going to beat her this time. And I never beat her. Yeah. And my best friend, the one with all the food in the cupboards, she used to cut across.
She used to come last over all the bars and clips.
You know what she did? So you'd have to run like a full cross country. It was about 5 mile. And like you could cut through the bushes and actually cut half of the 5 mile off. She would do that and still come last.
Right, that's bad.
She was so bad. No, she knew. She was so bad at sports.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of then your achievements, I know. So you're like looking at me now. You're like, I hate these questions.
I do.
What are you proud of right now in your life? What you're proud of?
Right now,
you're proud of the podcast.
Proud of the podcast. Very proud of the podcast. Sobriety.
Yeah.
Proud of that.
I'm proud of that.
Love to tell people that as well. I do.
Really?
But I'm not really in your face about it though.
What do you mean you love to tell them?
Like I love when the conversation comes up.
Yeah.
I love when somebody else is in sobriety as well and they bring the conversation up. I'm like, oh, class, I love this.
I know.
Yeah, I'm sober as well.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. Because obviously, as you know, it's not easy.
No. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right.
If you wanna.
Right, let's go.
So like I'm in recovery 22 years clean and sober. I had a lapse before that, but yeah. And I suppose that's in some ways how we connected.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Definitely.
But like actually I feel like you're like my brother or like just someone, we're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, definitely.
Basically. But we connected in recovery. But yeah, recovery's hard, Terence.
Oh, it's hard.
It's so hard. Like, especially in Ireland, I think, you know, because drink is so huge at the end of the day. But I don't think people always talk about how fucking great it is as well to be clean.
Yeah.
Like how, you know, how I love it. Like me and Dave particularly, like, so Dave is the love of my life. He is. He's a great bloke, Dave.
Dave's the goat.
Oh, he is. He's the goat.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a goat, by the way. But
no, he's quite handsome, actually.
But he is handsome. He was more handsome years ago, but anyway, that's life. We all go downhill as we age. But myself and him, like, we often talk about how our marriage, what it would be like if we weren't in recovery. Because he just be saying, love, we'd be killing each other with drink. Because I think, you know, there's a tendency, especially when you've been through shit, when you've got drugs in you and drink in you, the animal that you're keeping in because of the years of shit comes out. And in my case, so I love being sober. I actually don't miss it as much as I did when I was younger. But
because I think you appreciate how difficult it is to get sober initially.
Yeah.
And then to stay on track, like, and to keep going. It's really difficult. But
how are you doing it? How are you staying on track?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have, like, people ask me that and I'm like, I don't have this special answer. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just love being sober.
Yeah.
It's not even that I love being sober in particular. It's more so that I hate being that person.
Yeah.
So, like, I would rather sometimes have days where I wish I could be a drinker and a user or whatever, but then you go, well, you can't be, and you know you're this person when you do.
Yeah.
So it's like the good outweighs the bad on it for me. But then again, it's not like as if like I'm only sober because of this.
Yeah.
I actually do love it, like.
And do you stay away from the old crowd, the old ways?
Of course.
Yeah.
You have to though.
Yeah.
Especially like I'm only in my 20s, well, not in my late 20s now, but I'm only in my 20s, like, so like all my friends, like a lot of my friends are still using and like they probably won't stop. A lot of them can have a handle on it as well, but a lot of them have really gone down a bad road and stuff like that. So, and it's like, I wouldn't say I'm not friends with them anymore because I'm really close to all of them, like, and I'd be there for any of them. But in terms of like when they're in situations or they're at scenes where I just can't be around it, I just don't go.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit selfish as well with that. Like I'll avoid like parties, no problem. Like I don't care what the party is. Or
I know you're so strong like that though.
Yeah.
You're not a people pleaser at all.
No.
I wish you were a little bit more. Not many messing. I don't.
No, you have to be that China because you can only like how many times you're gonna put yourself in that situation and hope that like something doesn't happen. You can go all you want and some like it just depends on what kind of humour. I mean, sometimes I'd be at something like that and I'd be like, oh, thank God that I'm not there anymore. And then sometimes I'd go and I'd go, oh.
I know.
You know? Hard. So it's, for me now, I'm at a stage in my life now where I'm like, I just won't go. I don't care if it's a christening, a funeral or not. And I'll go to the church. I'm not going near that pub.
And I think as well, you know what's funny? We've talked about this as well, Terence. Like, it's really hard to be public, in the public eye, and to talk about sobriety, and then for people to be like expecting you to be a certain way. Like we've talked about, because we weren't, we're not, talking about that even here. It's like, I'm conscious that like, you're not, you're not a fucking role model for, like you are a role model, but it's not your job to be a role model for anybody else, or for anybody else to like expect you to live your life in any way. Like if you use tomorrow, fuck off. Like there's no, like, you're not here to be held accountable by the listeners of your podcast or my podcast or whatever else. Like the complexity of being a bit of a public face and having said that you're sober, it's complicated. That is, like, we've talked about it before.
Yeah, like this conversation does not happen anymore on my podcast. No. Very rarely nowadays in terms of my personal sobriety.
Yeah.
Because of that reason, I feel like there's so much pressure, and I know from experience, I've relapsed twice.
Yeah.
In the last 4 years, and both times you feel nothing but guilt, and you're like, oh my God, like, and there is people, like, because there's people all the time, Katriona, reach out and they're like, oh, I seen you were in sobriety, and there's people who know me who are like, Terence, you were really bad. Like, if you can do it, I can fucking do it. Like, and people like nearly put you up here just for, and then the pressure of that, like, it's heavy, like, and
I know.
I don't know.
And the really important thing is to know, like, I did a PhD on addiction, right? Relapse is part of addiction. Like, and anyone who's listening, it doesn't mean you should relapse. Like, if you are clean and you can stay clean, stay clean. But like, it's not right that people like hold you accountable. You're a young man at the end of the day, and it's really hard in this world to stay sober. I remember, like, obviously I know you now a good while, and I witnessed the relapse and witnessed it. And the thing that, like, I, as your friend and someone who loves you, like, I was like, the idea that the public perception would affect you hurt. I was like, I wanted to say to people, fuck off. Like, he's not public property. Like, you're a man. Like, you're a person, like.
Yeah.
And I get it. And the other thing is, like, so, like, even the book, like, I talk about being an addict, but it's not who I am. Like, I don't want to be known as a recovering addict.
Same, yeah.
I just want to be known as Katriona, like.
Yeah.
And in the recovering piece of it, I'm not just recovering from addiction, like, I'm recovering from trauma. I'm recovering from, like, toxic relationships, bad parents, good parents. Like, so, that idea of, like, just holding up this, I'm a recovering addict, it's really pressurising.
Well, I think I nearly done that to myself as well, because, I don't, when you first get sober, like, when I first got sober, Katriona, like, I tried so many times and failed. Just kept going back using and kept going back using. So when I finally did, and I started the podcast, I was about 6 months sober. So when I started the podcast, I wanted to tell the world, because I was convinced I'll never use again. Like, I'm telling the world, you can get sober, blah, blah. And then I nearly put my own self as opposed to boy for sobriety, especially like as a young man in his mid-20s or early 20s. It's like, I'm putting it out there, like, and then you slip and you're like, oh, fuck, maybe I'm not fucking
a poster boy.
Yeah.
But that's normal. Like, like, I remember sitting on the bus. I was about 3 months clean, sitting next to some owl one, telling her my whole life how I was clean 3 months, I've been in treatment. This woman's like, she was holding her handbag closer and closer to herself. I want to tell everyone, like,
it's one of them things.
So proud of myself at the end of the day, and like also wanting to help people. You're like, this is how you stay clean, share it with the world. 100%. But like, no one should be held accountable for like their young or their enthusiastic self. Like, it's all.
But there's also some good as well. Like I obviously relapsed last year, about a year and a half ago, and when I did, this girl actually never still reached out to me. I told you about this, Katriona, I think. When I was in the pub and I was at that relapse, and I was on a mad one, and you can clearly, like, I'm a completely different person when I'm using, when I'm not. So like, when I'm using, you're going to know I'm using very fast, because you're going to hear me first and then you're going to see the carry-ons.
Yeah.
And I was using, and then I was with a friend, and my friend went to the toilet, and when he went to the toilet, this girl came over to me, and she just said, like, hey, I hope you're doing all right. Like, I can see that, like, you're having a drink or whatever. Look, I just want to let you know I'm here, and I love the podcast, and I hope you're all right. And just walked off.
Oh.
But that sent me west.
That sent you west.
So I was like, I'm out here. Get me out of this place quick.
I know, because Coke makes you paranoid as is. Yeah. So all of a sudden, everyone's looking at you.
Oh my God, was she looking at me? What was I doing? Fuck. Yeah. And she knows I'm out. I'm like, 2 points of Guinness in your hand.
It's going to be on on the front of the Irish Independent tomorrow. Terence Flower. I get you. I get you.
But that was beautiful. Like at the time, I was really paranoid. But then, it actually wasn't until I actually didn't even remember that till weeks later, and then I was like, "Remember that blatant girl?" She never just reached out to me or that.
I know.
Like I never heard my since.
I know. I wonder if she was real.
Yeah,
maybe she was a Coke fantasy.
Stop! Will always walk the rock of hair.
You know what though? Like as your pal, I know this is emotional, but like it's my privilege to be part of your recovery journey and witness it. Now I'm gonna cry saying that, but like, there's no better gift than actually watching another person recover and being friends with them, and actually vice versa. Like I think the gift of recovery isn't, and I'm talking about healing recovery, isn't just about being clean, or it's about connection. And like when you remove the drugs, you remove the drink, you remove the violence, you remove the crime, like you're more able to connect with people because you're not hiding.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And like I love that connection that we have.
Yeah.
And that I have with other people who are genuinely, it's not even like they're on a journey to a different type of life. And it doesn't always have to be about drugs and drink. It's such a privilege to be part of that. Just saying that because I love you.
Thanks, pal. And I love you as well.
The other thing I was going to ask you about is the people in your life that meant a lot. Now, I know this is hard, right? So I specifically wanted to talk about, when I talk about my story, the one thing that everyone focuses on is the teachers, which is great because teachers did make a difference in my life. But they ignore a really important person in my childhood, right? Which was Mel, my youth worker. And my story is a series of stepping stones of adults in my childhood. They didn't save me from addiction. They didn't save me from teenage pregnancy, but they actually reminded me along the way that I was a valuable human being when I wasn't getting that at home.
Yeah.
Because my mum and dad weren't capable of it.
Yeah.
And like I had teachers who did it, and I had this youth worker, his name was Mal. And I used to go up to the youth centre twice a week at the youth club, and he'd give me a smoke. I know that's not supposed to happen. Give me a smoke, cup of tea, and I eventually kind of opened up to him, and he was like another person who just placed this light inside of me and made me feel like I was valuable. Yeah. And I know you had a kind of similar experience. Do you want to talk to me a bit about that?
Yeah. Obviously the youth club is Braddock that I went at as a kid, and it's mad because I'm closer to all the youth workers now. So, like, a lot of the youth workers that were there when I was a kid, and I was a mad little bastard, like, you know, I was going in there and causing trouble every day, like, you know. And they're all still there. And now I'm friends with a lot of them, you know, I'm close with all of them. And I stay in touch all the time, but I'm really close friends with Darren, who you have met, Darren O'Connor. And we've had him on the podcast as well.
Yeah. And,
Darren in particular, but all the youth workers in the youth club, like that youth club in particular, like, was huge for us. Was it like that for you?
Oh,
as well?
yeah.
Like,
it's the youth club.
Yeah.
It was mad because, like, you know yourself, Terence, when you live in the flats, like, there's a lot of pressure on the street to be mad.
Yeah.
Like, there is. Like, if you're... I always say this joke, you know, I loved reading books. I loved Shakespeare and stuff in school. But, like, I always say this joke, like, imagine me sitting on the smoking, you know, at the flat saying, oh God, you know, Shylock was the victim in The Merchant of Venice. Like, I'm going to get battered. Like, I'm never going to be able to, I'm not cool, like, you know? So, like, on the street, you're always expected to be a mad fucker.
Yeah.
And if you're a girl, you're expected to be going out with the mad fuckers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But in the youth club, it was a bit more, you could play a bit more.
Yeah.
I know that sounds mad, but like, you couldn't really play outside. Like, you could rob and smoke and whatever, but you couldn't be like a kid.
Yeah.
And you go in the youth club and the music be on, so like, you know, you could, you know, they'd have like people visiting, doing activities, and even though you'd be standing there going, yeah, fuck off, you still could be a bit more of a kid. Did you find that?
Yeah, 100%. We'd go in there and we'd run amok, but it was always like kind of, we weren't actually going out to do anything devious. Like, we were going in there and just having fun. Like you said, just being kids.
Being kids.
But not only that, like, it was a place for us to like Like, we went down there, we all knew when we were going down, so there'd be fucking 10 or 12 of us going down, we'd be like, lovely, we get cups of tea and toasties and the whole lot, we'll get down here and we'll have the buzz. But there was also, like, there was this whole fun side of it. But there was also the side with the youth workers where they'd pull you aside, like, kind of not very strict or, like...
I know.
They just kind of pull you and they'd be chatting to you and they'd be like asking you about your life and what's going on and how's things at home and trying to guide you. Like, and as you got a bit older, like into your early teen years or whatever, they'd be kind of like, well, what's the plans then? We're going to go to the Fosse, you're going to do an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
We'll do CVs for you, and like just actually wanting the best for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's I think the difference, I don't know about you, I know this is true for you as well, but like in school, like the teachers, a lot of them were like really strict and so distant from you. And like the guards, the same. So you're meeting all these people in services who are just professionals who just feel like they want to control you and tell you off or tell you you're no good. And then you got the youth workers just had a different way.
100%.
Like Mal was just like sound. He was like one of us. Like he lived up the roads. He wasn't like mad, like, but he was one of us. As in
100%.
And like,
well, a lot of youth workers are, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like they've come through a system.
Yeah.
And they know, like they get it, they understand the kids, like they know what the crack is, and they're just flaunting around, they're slagging and you're slagging them, and it's all just a bit of banter.
I know.
But then there's that serious nurture side from them.
Yes.
That is like, and it's so crucial for kids that grew up like us. Like, so crucial.
I know.
Like the amount of kids that they've fucking helped over the years. Like, I know from your own personal experience that they've helped my life drastically. And that's only me. I know they've done that with thousands of kids in the inner city. Like just to even get us off them streets, out of the flats and away from making the Bollox just for a couple of hours.
Exactly.
Take a win there, and then actually you want to listen to them. Yeah. And they're guiding you in the right way, and that, like, I don't know, I would have been lost without the youth club.
Oh, same. And I always think about like Mal, probably the same way you think about Darren. Well, I think about Mal as being someone who, like, obviously in a time when things were hard in my life and I was a bit lost, he was like a steady person that I knew was always there. Even if I didn't use him, I knew he was there. But the other thing, the important thing is I know he believed in me. Like, you know, when you end up like being a little shit in school, because I know you were, and you end up being like getting in trouble with the guards, getting in trouble this, getting in trouble that, you end up like doubting yourself. Like I did anyway, thinking that I wasn't very good or I wasn't clever enough or whatever. Like I had this feeling like I was bad. And having someone like Mal, who I knew, he thinks I'm good, that mattered to me. That really mattered. And like that lasts forever. Like, I don't know if people realise or if we recognise youth work as much as we should, and how like them people who are just sound, they understand how to communicate with kids, they understand the value of a cup of tea and a toasty and a bit of crack and not being too like rigid. They really change the way you can feel about yourself, and I think we all need that. Yeah,
I'd agree 100%. Like, that's why I try and promote the youth work as much as I can on my own podcast. Like, I'm always talking about it, and not only that, like Calvin has had a similar experience, so he can talk about his side in his youth club. And then like anybody, like most people from our area all have the same positive experience. Now, I don't know one person who's ever went to a youth club and said they didn't like it.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
It just wasn't one of them things. Like,
I know. I wouldn't like to work in one though.
No, Katriona, how do they cope?
I know.
Like, we're a load of mad kids just going around running amok.
I know. It is a real skill.
Fucking right, like, it is. You're mad. I know it is.
And being a good teacher is a real skill as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good at slagging off people in services and supports, but like doing something really well like that, connecting with mad kids, like kids who are like on the margins or are not like engaged, is a massive skill.
Yeah.
I don't think we pay them enough, and I don't think we recognise them enough. 100%. So in terms of who do you go to for advice? That's the other thing. Like, how do you like manage making decisions in your life? That's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. How do you do it, Terence? Like, I'll tell you how I make decisions in my life. I listen. Like, I never consciously made really any decisions. Like, say, I did make the decision to be with Dave, but the others, I was like, he didn't have a fucking choice in that. I was like, you're a good one. You're not going anywhere. Get down there. Into the basement, I meant.
See, you are funny.
I know.
Katrina.
I am funny.
Yeah, I'll give you.
So I say like college and all. Like once I got clean and sober, like I just literally followed like the way I felt. So like someone would say to me, "Oh, you should do a CE scheme. There's a CE scheme down there in ACIG, and then go down there and do that. They pay you 200 quid. All right, I'll go there. Tried that. I fucking hate this. Left. And then someone said, there's a course there, Joe. There's a course down there. You should try that. I loved it. Oh yeah, this feels good. Do that. Yeah. And literally like most of the decisions in my life were made based on how I felt rather than necessarily asking people. I think as I've got older, I do ask more now for advice, and I don't like it even because like sometimes people give me advice based on what they want from me and they think is best for me rather than what's going on inside of myself.
Yeah, I hear you.
How do you make decisions?
Don't know.
You don't know?
No, you had the stinging me there.
Yeah. So you just do it. You just do shit.
Yeah. But like in terms of decisions, in terms of what Katrina like in me, like the podcast, let's say, that was like a rash decision that just paid off. Like I'm so lucky in that.
Yeah. But like, even like who you have on the podcast, how do you make that decision?
Again, just people that I'm interested in.
Really?
You know what I mean? People who I want to have on, people who I think will have a good conversation and people will be able to relate and listen or enjoy no matter what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just make decisions.
You just go with the flow.
Just go with the flow.
You're not strategic, like you haven't got like a big plan for your life.
But thankfully I'm not on my own doing the podcast because if like I'd probably be fucked up. Like, you know, I need like sensible people as well to be like, yeah, do you reckon like you should do that one? I'm like, oh, just fucking do it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So is that like Go Loud, like the team and Go Loud, or Calvin?
Yeah,
Sal,
the team
Calvin.
And Go Loud.
The two of you together. The two of you together make decisions around the podcast and around your own life. Like you just kind of do your own thing.
I just go with the flow, Katrina.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd be mad sometimes. You'd ring me and go, I'm running a marathon in a week. And I'd be like, okay, maybe that's not a good idea. You don't listen. Like, you're like, no, I'll be fine. Yeah. So you just go on a whim sometimes.
Yeah. Everyone that knows me knows that about me. Like,
yeah, but you're very strong-minded. Like,
yeah,
like you're one of the most strong-minded people I know. Like, I would never think. Like some people, I'd be like, oh, I can tell him not to do that, or I could encourage them not to do something. There's no telling you. Like,
I don't know if that's a good or a bad trait.
No, it's a great trait.
Is it?
Well, I think like it is. Yeah, I think to know yourself.
But I think I'm open-minded as well. Like,
not many jokes.
I was like, what?
No,
I think like if you rang me and said, oh, like blah blah blah, I think I'm open-minded enough to at least even take it in and go, am I doing something wrong there?
Yeah, no, but like I don't mean that in like if you hurt someone or do something. Yeah. But I mean, like, if you're deciding I'm going to run a marathon or I'm going to gym, like you said to me a couple of months, I'm joining the gym every day. I'm in the gym every day. I'm like, how is he so, he's so focused and so committed.
Is that addicted personality, is it?
I don't know. There's no such thing as an addictive personality.
Yes, no.
No, we have these. That. So me and Terry have these arguments all the time. Like he keeps diagnosing me with loads of disorders.
She has a load of them, actually. And I'm not joking.
And I don't think.
See, people, this is the thing as well. People only see this side of you, like this clever, educated woman. And I'm like, this thing is a nut. You just don't know the things that she does with the fingers, and she does all these mad things. She counts her steps when she's walking and stuff like that.
I don't count my steps, but I do count my finger taps. But like, everybody does that now.
No, Katrina.
Like, Terence just walked into a stranger's podcast room and turned off all the plugs. So like, let's not get into it.
I did do that. The switches.
Okay, so we're nearly done because I hate a podcast that lasts for longer than an hour.
Why? That's mad.
I don't know. The only one I've ever...
I love the ones over an hour.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That one that Ndengu, what was his name? The boxer? You know the guy that was Ndengu? Ngannou.
Yes.
We have Dan in the podcast now as well. Dan who's recording it.
I was like, Ngannou.
That was long, but that was good, man. That was good. I just don't find people that interesting for that long period of time. But there's some people that I do. Who is your favourite guest?
Katriona O'Sullivan.
Fuck off. You can't say me.
I don't know, Katrina.
You've not got a favourite. Now you have to go all the way back because you tendency to think of the most recent ones.
Yeah, the first 100 I delete.
Okay.
Right, so they're gone.
Okay.
So we're
deleting Terry's ma.
Yeah, that's gone. I don't know. Do you know what I forget?
Who you had on?
Yeah.
I know.
Look, I was on Instagram yesterday, the day before, and I seen Ian Gardy. He's a UFC fighter. You probably don't know him.
Yeah.
He's a UFC. And I was like, oh, he was on the podcast.
He was on
what
the podcast.
Fuck? That's mad, you know?
You've had some amazing people on.
Ah, yeah.
Dream guests then. Dream guests.
Dream guests. Ian Roy Keane.
Oh, Roy Keane. I actually love Roy Keane.
So do I.
No, I never used to like him.
Oh, neither did I, because he was United.
Nah, it wasn't the United. I just thought he was so cocky. But now I listen to him, I'm like, I love him. I actually think I love him.
Yeah, he's the man.
He's amazing.
He's the man.
So Ian Wright.
I just named 2 footballers
Roy
there for
Keane.
some reason.
Well, Ian Wright's amazing though. He's so emotional.
I know.
Who else?
I love that about him.
I love it too. You see the teacher video?
Yeah, it's class, isn't it?
His teacher died as well, you know. That man died.
No, I don't think so.
He did. He died. That's an old video. He died. I saw a video saying that he'd passed away.
Oh, way.
Yeah, Mr. Pickford.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. Who else?
Who else?
See, you just picked 2 men as well. So
I know, yeah. This was straight off, because I was watching Stick to Football last night.
Would you have someone like Donald Trump on?
I don't know if I ever want to have another politician on again.
Oh, this is good. Why? I think it's unfair.
Because I hate the Micheál Martin episode. I'm just, Katrina, don't start jumping in with, oh, yeah, great.
Yeah.
I'm not educated enough.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not articulate enough to be sitting there with politicians.
Yeah, but they're so clever. Not clever as in intellectual. They know how to spin.
Yeah.
So you're never going to get an answer.
Yeah.
You're just going to get what they're going to say.
Yeah.
So like they know what they want to say and they're going to say it.
Like when we had Micheál Martin on the podcast, like I know I'm not smart enough to argue and debate and stuff like that about political situations. I know I'm not. So I just tried to go in there with like a personal point of view. If this is what life was like growing up on me, what about other kids who are going hungry, and giving them the statistics. So I did a lot of homework before we had them on. And that was just my angle of it. But again, I was nervous before that because I'm like, I shouldn't be here, you know. There's always that kind of frame of mind.
Kind of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have like Simon Harris on or any of the newer Mary Lou or Gary Gannon.
Look, I'll never say never, but no. No. Let's avoid politics.
Okay, no politics.
For the time being.
So dream guest, Kamala Harris.
No.
Anyone?
Who the fuck would I like to have on it? Why is that such a difficult question?
You've had so many good people on though. Like I love the emotional ones. Like when I listen to yours, like the emotional ones. Like I was on a plane once and I was listening to one of your guests, your woman who brought in the law. Fuck man, I cried. You know that law about our daughter bullying
Jackie
online?
Fox.
That was
what an amazing guest.
That was an amazing guest.
What a woman.
That was unbelievable.
You know what one of my favourite episodes is? The Sarah Grace one.
Oh yeah, that was terrifying. That was.
Do you know why that's one of my favourites? Because of how good she was.
Yeah, she was.
So like,
yeah,
she could see how awkward we were.
You were so awkward
in parts of it. But like, it's like I'm a man.
Yeah.
And she's talking about this situation that happened to her, like where she was sexually assaulted.
I know.
By a man, and I was just like, this is like, I didn't know whether I could offend her if I said something, or so I was so. And then she was just like, lads, you won't offend me with anything. Ask whatever you want, whatever way you want. I know there's no. And I was just like, oh, she's amazing. Yeah,
but I heard her on a different podcast, right? And the lads were quite inappropriate in the way they acted. And you two was so respectful. Like I remember looking at your little face and I was like, oh my God, I just want to give Terence a hug. Like, because because I know you care so much. And that was really hard to listen. But that was a really hard episode. But I really like the fact that you actually do have people on like that who are just like normal, who've been through shit at the end of the day, and taught them, allow them to tell their story.
Yeah, you know, sometimes people say, I won't go on that podcast till I got 100,000 followers. I'm like, what are you on about, man? That's not how it works.
At all.
Like, we've had so many people on that podcast that don't have a huge following.
I know.
That just have a brilliant story.
I know.
You know, and we've had so many amazing ones.
I know.
Jackie Fox and Sarah Grace, that were huge ones.
And your man whose kids were, his wife killed his kids.
Andrew McGinley.
That was so sad. So sad. So in terms of, let's just turn to the last question. So this is one. The importance of having uncomfortable conversations. Because I think you're good at that, like at the end of the day, especially in the podcast stuff.
Yeah.
But like in the world that we're in, Terence, like I'm finding, because I'm from a working class background, Like in the last couple of months, I've been asked to have conversations about people who come from our communities, really uncomfortable ones. And how do you feel about like having difficult conversations publicly and privately?
Privately, I love it with all my heart. It's my favourite thing to do. Favourite thing to talk about.
I know.
Is everything we didn't have.
I know.
Love it.
Yes.
Publicly, I hate it.
Really?
But I know the importance of it. So like, I understand, like I risk that feeling of embarrassment or that feeling of vulnerability when I'm speaking about certain topics like growing up in poverty and being in addiction. Like I understand that like you're really putting yourself out there, like you're opening up here. And even after you have a conversation like that, you leave and you go, oh fuck's sake. Like,
I know.
But then there's this overwhelming feeling when you get a reaction to that.
Yeah. A good feeling?
Yeah. Of like when somebody listens to it and they're like, fuck, I get that.
Yeah.
Like the relation to it and stuff like that. So like having the uncomfortable conversations is really difficult at the time until somebody relates to it.
Yes.
And then there's just this feeling of like, oh, right, I'm not a fucking idiot.
No.
I am a little bit embarrassed. I'm a little bit vulnerable right now. But it's at the walking. Yeah. If someone gets it.
Yeah, I think as well, in my case, like obviously I wrote my story and told my life, like really uncomfortable things about my life, things that had happened to me as a child, but also things that I'd done as an adult. Like, and the worry was always like, are people going to judge me? So like, I think I carry an extra burden, and maybe you do, of like trying to make sure that we don't make poor people, like make a stereotype of poor people, but also highlight the challenges of coming from that as well. So it's like this middle ground, because sometimes you can say things and offend somebody. Like, so, you know, you said about the positive stuff. Like, I've had loads of, like, in the last year and a half, the amount of positive stuff. Yeah. But, like, I'm very drawn to the negative as well. Like, so 100 people can say a great thing and I get one negative comment and I'm, like, persecuted by that for an hour or two. And I want to fight. Yeah. Like, I literally want to fight someone when they write something negative.
Yeah, no,
like,
I get that.
That's me. That's in me. Like, people are, I'm not like a podcast or a social media expert. Look, I'm just a fucking girl. And if you say something to me, you put it up to me, I'm going to fucking fight you. Like,
let them know, Katriona. She's dipping her hands in petrol.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like, when
right.
someone, so like, remember when I was on your podcast actually, and I said, choice is a myth.
Yeah.
And I said that it's robbed from poor people by a lack of opportunity in their communities. Like, and saying that people have choice suggests that it's our responsibility always. And the amount of great and bad stuff.
But it's just,
and like, so
you can't give energy to that, because it's like, that's, again, it's so rare for that to, for a comment like that to come in, because it was basically just tit for tat of like, I grew up poor and I'm doing all right.
I know.
And it's like, no, we get, pal, we're not saying 100% the people are fucked. Yeah. That's not what we're saying. We're saying the choice to grow up and be nurtured correct and have a good life is not really there from a young age. And when it's not there as you get older, obviously, whatever, you're going to kind of go down the route. You'll become product of your environment. It tends to happen.
It tends to happen, yeah. But the uncomfortable piece is having the conversation. Like, I'm glad that I'm having them conversations, even if it is getting people arguing.
Yeah.
Like, at least then you're bringing things to the fore that might not have been. But like, how do you deal with the vulnerability afterwards? Like, we've talked about, so, you know, the Late Show, Terence, like, I'm sorry.
Are you going to talk about it?
Well, no.
I'm all right with it now.
Yeah.
Right,
like, yeah, but like.
Katriona saved me life, by the way. No, you did. No, you did, Katriona.
Can we start with that?
I couldn't go out in public.
I know. Go on, tell him. Tell the story. Let's go.
So I was on the Late at the start of this year, and not even straight after. Straight after, I was like, oh, I could have been, because I know how nervous I get.
Yeah.
Do you get me? I'm nervous now, for fuck's sake. I'm sitting down with you, like.
I know.
I just get nervous when I know someone's going to ask me a question.
I know.
And like, you have to answer it.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, fuck.
I know.
So, but I don't know, for days and weeks after that, remember, Katriona?
I know.
I just couldn't cope with the thought of, I was like, that interview went so bad.
And
I wouldn't mind that the responses were overwhelmingly positive.
I know.
After. But I was like,
you don't care about that though.
No.
Like, so Terence has, like, so I hope you don't mind me saying this, like, we're friends, but Terence has a couple of things that he's done in the public arena that like burn him in his head.
Yeah.
And the Late Late was one of them. So, and I was in the audience for his Late Late with his ma and Jordan, and it was amazing. And like, I know that they represented themselves really well. But afterwards, I could talk to one of the people like, don't mention it. Don't mention it. He'd ring me in the morning. I was up all night thinking about the Late Late Show. And I was like, watch it back. Like, watch it back. And you wouldn't watch it back.
No, this went on for weeks.
And then he went, one day he rang me and he was like, I feel great. I was like, why'd you feel great? And he went, I watched it back.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking told you.
Yeah. But I don't think it was great, but I watched it back and it wasn't what I thought it was.
I know.
I made this story up in my head about that Late Late interview, and I was like, you were answering things that you weren't asked, and you were this and that, and I just had this whole song. And I swear, Katriona, this sounds mad. I might be a no, but there's a strong chance. Look, I go out on a walk. I love just going walking anyways. I just go out on a walk with my AirPods and listen to a podcast. I'd be like 15 minutes on a walk and I'd be like, I need to go home. I need to go home. I'm embarrassed for my life. Like,
I know.
Like, it was 4 months ago.
I know.
I swear, if the talk came into my head,
I know.
I was like, I'd instantly go red.
Yes.
In real life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that.
I know. And you know what?
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. But like, I have them things, Terence. It's like moments of like, there's a thing that I did or said. I never really watch myself back ever.
Yeah.
Like, once it's done, it's done. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. And like, even when people tag me in clips, I'd be like, I don't even want to hear, especially my brummy fucking Irish accent. I'd be like, no. And then sometimes I watch myself back and go, I was fucking great. What am I? Do you know, like, where did that come from? But that was really, really affected you.
Yeah, fucked me up.
Yeah, really affected
and then you forced me to watch. Do you know what it was? It was literally final straw for me.
I know.
I says, I have to just watch it back.
I know.
And I watched it back and I was like,
you were just changed.
Yeah.
It was like all the anxiety was gone. But like before the Late, I did the Late before you. And I was saying to you.
No, actually, you actually fucked me up in the first place, Katriona. So you fucked me up and then you saved me life. No, because Katriona was on the Late. All right, I got it. The whole thing. Then we were asked to go on to the Late. And I didn't give a fuck about the Late.
No.
No, Katriona, I didn't realise that you made me understand how big the Late is.
Yeah, but like, that's because you were just walking around like, going on the Late tomorrow. Like, and I was like, it's the biggest watch show. And all the poshies watch it, and all the grannies down the country are gonna know you afterwards. This is me before, and then he was freaked. You would have been freaked anyway. I didn't know. You would have been freaked anyway. It wasn't me because you got closer, you started to realise what this is. When you got dressed and all, you were like, oh my God, I'm actually going on the Late. Like when I was standing behind that curtain, my mouth was so dry.
Same, man.
And my hands were shaking. I was like, how am I going to drink water? Because my hands are shaking too much. It'll make me look really bad.
I know.
And then it was like, I was grand. Like,
no, yours was lethal.
Mine was lethal.
Well, you're a cunt for that. Like, no. I just mean
that's in a loving way, by the way. Yeah. We use cunt in a loving way.
Yeah.
Go.
No, she's a cunt for switching around. Like, you have that thing in you.
Yeah.
Where you can go from like the mad cunt to the fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Real fast, you get me? Where I'm just always kind of stuck in limbo of like, I'll take these cameras home with me in this room and like I'm trying to have a normal conversation. Do you get me?
Yeah, no, I do have that capability. It is. It's years of doing it though, Terence.
Yeah, it's
class. Years and years. And also like it doesn't, I prepare like a lot.
Yeah.
So like I know what you say, like I just turn it on, but I prepare a lot for like talks or events or whatever. So and obviously because I'm a lecturer, like I teach all the time.
Matter, like, there's so much bleeding involved in it, and then the pressure of talking publicly.
Yeah. Well, the Late now, it really made me scared.
Yeah.
It was the most scared I've been at anything that I've ever done.
What about the UN?
Not like I loved the UN. I actually, you know what? When I knew I was going, it was the only thing that I ever went to that I was like, I am going to enjoy. Because sometimes I don't actually be in the moment when the things are happening. And then afterwards I think, I didn't really enjoy that. But when I went there, I was like, I'm going to enjoy every single moment. This is like a once in a lifetime offer and I'm going to enjoy it. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And like, you were great. You were so supportive. Like I had 10 minutes to film my whole story in, and I'm a waffler like.
Yeah.
And I rang Terence the night before and he was on the phone and I said, please can I read the whole speech to you? And you're like, oh, fucking hell.
Lawyer, I was so excited.
No, you're so excited.
I was like, go.
But I read it and he cried.
I did cry. I shed a tear.
He actually cried.
I shed a tear.
Yeah, he cried when he was on the call.
I'm not ashamed to say I shed a tear. It's the most, I swear, I say, it's going to sound like I'm being a lick ass. It's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. It is. It sounds like I'm just saying this because I'm here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Honestly, Katriona, look, I've never fucking shed a tear listening to something before. It's a bleeding speech about someone's life. Look, I get it. I feel for you. I have empathy and stuff like that. But I'm like, fuck, that was heavy.
I know, but you know what, Terence? It's mad because you've been one of the constant people who've actually reminded me of how amazing I am.
Yeah.
And I at this point in my life, I actually know that I am really good at that.
Yeah.
There's things that I'm not good at. Like I couldn't run a marathon. You're running it.
Can.
But, no, I couldn't.
You can.
Not right now because I've got like a broken hip, but maybe one day.
You can.
But I know that the public speaking and having friends like yourself helps with that.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I think you're amazing, pal.
So we're going to stop. That was great. Is there anything that you missed, that I missed, or you want to add?
No.
No? Are you done? Yeah. Was it as bad as what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
Was it?
No, just some of the questions, Katriona.
I know, well, I got rid of I know. For you.
Yeah, like, who are you?
Every time I asked the question, your eyes were like, oh no.
Fucks me up.
I know.
Like the most basic question in the world fucked me up. It's like, who are you?
I know.
It's just who are you?
That's a really hard question.
That's
the hardest question of all of them.
Is it? I don't know. They were all a bit difficult.
Yeah, a lot of us don't know who we are.
Yeah.
But let's not go deep into that. We're nearly the end now.
I know.
Terence, you did a great job. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for having me
And thanks for listening, everybody.
Legends.
Yeah. Done.
Boom.